happened. But I hope you guys are having a good May so far, a nice spring if you are in the Northern Hemisphere as I am. For those of you that are new here, I'm Blair Stalker with Wisecraft Handmade. Instead of blogging that I should be doing on my website, I started vlogging because it just seemed easier, and it feels like I film myself so much these days with classes that I offer and things like that. Why not just go ahead and vlog while the camera is already set up? So it's May here in my studio in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I thought I would share with you what I'm up to and what's on the horizon. So as a creative small business owner, you're always very much working in the now and very much trying to work ahead, which is very different than when I was in the corporate world in fashion design and apparel merchandising, because we worked at least 1 year in advance. I just got used to working that way, and it always seemed like it was never enough time. Deadlines were still pretty tight. But anyway, I am trying really hard to get better at scheduling out on my calendar what I'm going to need to focus on every month. And one of the things that I'm focusing on for this month, which I did plan ahead for, is the Making Zen online retreat. Now, that is hosted every year. I'm not really sure how many years they've been hosting it, a few years now. If you are not familiar with it, it happens May 26th through May 30th this year, all online. It features this year, I believe, 32 different artists. And the way it works is you register for it free, and I'll provide the link in my description box. But you follow that link, and it's completely free to join, and it's completely free to watch those videos during the retreat. The videos are usually, the little classes are usually about 30 minutes each. So it's really great to watch, pick up a new technique, try it out, that kind of thing. And you have 24 hours to watch and rewatch the videos for that day, which is great. My contribution this year, I will be stitching up these little chicken scratch embroidered needle books. Now, a little backstory about this. I had my first in-person retreat in Santa Fe just last month, I think. And I wanted to make it really special. And we were going to be doing quilting and patchwork, but we were also going to be doing chicken scratch and we took a field trip to the Folk Art Museum to get some inspiration. And then we learned the technique very early in the retreat, because I was thinking they can do that sort of work to wind down at night. It's very meditative, and it's, very easy to see in the evening. So I wanted to stitch something for them to keep their needles and things in. So that's how I came up with this needle book. And it's very simple to make. I've but I've embroidered a very classic chicken scratch pattern on the front. And then on the inside, there is a wool page that you can keep needles and pins in. And then there is a pocket on the inside on each side that you can keep things like, I keep these clips in for when I'm doing English paper piecing, and then it ties with a little bit of trim, and it gives you a chance to use some fancy trim if you've had it sitting around. So I made these for all of the students to go with their supplies for the workshop, and I loved the way they turned out, and I loved that I continued to use mine all the time. So I've used it every day since. I have it by where I sit in the evening when I am watching TV with my husband and I'm stitching on something. I have this nearby. So this is what I will be showing or demonstrating how to do. And then in addition to that, I believe all of the workshop teachers, or most of the workshop teachers, offer VIP content. And that content can only be accessed if you purchase a VIP pass. I'll have to look up the VIP pass price right now because it's on special, but I'll put it in the description box. Purchasing the VIP pass allows you to keep lifetime access to all of the workshops shown throughout the week, so you can rewatch them anytime. And in addition to that, it unlocks all of this bonus content from this year's participating teachers. So you get a ton of bonus content. I just think that this particular retreat has so much value and it's so well attended. There's a really robust community around things that people are making and sharing online. It's just super fun. My contribution, my VIP pass, will be the chicken scratch sampler. And I did a sew along with this last year. And if you did not or were not able to be a part of that and you're interested after making the needle book and learning this classic chicken scratch pattern, the sampler that I offer as a bonus will teach you 9 different patterns to stitch in chicken scratch. So all of that information to sign up will be in the description box. But it's a wonderful online retreat. I love the fact that we can all do it in our own sewing spaces and not have to worry about gathering supplies remotely. So I've been preparing for that. So you're going to hear me talk a lot about that. And then the next thing that's going to happen, which I'm really excited about, is let's get back to some quilts, some patchwork. So a lot of you may or may not know that I released a new pattern, Dash, last month. Was it a month ago? No, it was a few months ago because I showed it at QuiltCon in February. It's the quilt behind me. And this is made with a full fat quarter set of the Pretty Things fabric by Denise Schmidt for Wyndham, which is out in stores right now. So I thought it would be fun to have a quilt along with this, just because I want to make another one. I like the accountability of a quilt along. I like the way they're structured, quilt alongs and sew alongs. I've done a few of them. And I like the community around them. So we're going to have a quilt along. This is going to start on June 9th, and it's going to go through the end of the week of July 7th. So you've got 5 weeks. Every week, there will be new videos released to talk about the different parts of the quilt along. One of the biggest questions that I get with the type of quilting that I do, the scrappy, full of print and pattern quilts that I make, is color value. And so I will be offering up some tips on dividing your fabric stash into color value groups and how to make that effective in your quilt and things like that. Color value is something that I'm very passionate about because I love scrappy, super scrappy quilts, but I also love for them to have form and design in them, you know, intentional shapes within the design. And I do that with color value, not so much with color, although color does sometimes come into it. But if you look at the quilt behind me, you'll see that the shapes are created and the forms in the quilt are created because of color value and how it is used strategically in the quilt design. So that's one of the things that we're going to be going over with Dash. There are going to be kits available. I had people asking if any shops were going to be kitting them up, and I believe that Sewtopia is going to be kitting them up. I'm very excited about that. So I will also provide you a link to that shop. They're great. They're wonderful. Aside from that, I'm still working on my personal projects. They're underway. They're not done. I'm still working on all 3 of them, really. I'm determined to finish because I get a lot of satisfaction out of finishing up personal projects just as much as professional projects. So I'll give you an update on those when they are ready. Another thing that I just got from Etsy, my husband just picked it up at the mailbox. Check this yarn, this hand-dyed yarn out. So people that are doing my grid line block of the month, the chicken scratch and block of the month, they know how much I love variegated thread. And this is actually, I guess it's sock yarn, or yeah, I think they described it as sock yarn. And it's from this Etsy shop called Ridiculous, Brediculous, hand-dyed yarn. And so I thought, why not try some of this for some of the chicken scratch? Now, I don't yet have a plan for how I'm going to use it, so I'm just going to play around with it. And, oh, I'm sorry, here it is. It says fingering weight 4-ply nylon. So I'll let you know how it goes. Could be something fun. The colorways are super fun. This one's called Funky Monkey, and this one's called Coral Reef, and this one's called A Shot of Unicorn. They're just beautiful. I think they're so pretty. So I think I'm going to play around with those, which I'm excited about. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on. I just filmed a new block this morning for our grid line block of the month. I'm trying to get all of those monthly videos filmed and edited so that that project is sort of like running on its own. And usually if I film lots of videos in the same day, it's easier than setting up and breaking down the little filming setup that I have here in my studio. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is being online and inadvertently growing old online and how I feel about that. I think I've been thinking about that because I had a birthday last month. I turned 59. And it occurred to me, we are now in 2025, and I have been blogging for 20 years. And not really blogging so much as I've been online for 20 years. You know, when I started my blog back in 2005, it was really just a way for me to organize the little miscellaneous projects I was working on in between raising small children. And then in addition to that, I thought it was a fun way to keep in touch with family that we did not live close to anymore. Little did I know that 20 years later, I would have a business that started because of that blog. I mean, I remember one of the first blog posts I ever wrote was about a bean that my son had brought home in a cup, and we were watching it sprout and grow leaves. And I think I had a picture of that. And so it was a fun way to organize myself. But little did I know that I would be growing old online. When I first started to have a presence online, the people that I knew of, who I followed and who I connected with online with other blogs, we did not really show our face very much. It was really about the projects. It was really about photographs of sort of our daily life and images that could tell a story, I guess. The first time I ever showed my face online, I'm not sure when that was. I'm not sure if it was a year later or whatever. It was a big deal for me. And that was the cheesiest picture ever. It was me with my head tilted over my sewing machine, and such a cheesy picture. I look at that picture now and I think, what on earth made you feel insecure about showing your face online at that point? Yeah, that was a big leap for me. And after that, I would show profiles of my face. I got really good at showing my hands, but wasn't a big fan of always showing my full face online. I learned early on not to show a lot of my kids' faces. I did in the beginning, but then I stopped because I was like, this just feels very exposed. Flash forward to 2025, and now I've got gray hair and wrinkles, more wrinkles, and I'm growing old on camera. And the irony is, I feel way more comfortable on camera now than I ever did back then. I was so insecure. And I don't know if that's a product of just me putting myself out there over and over again, or if it's just something that we are all starting to grow more comfortable with, like having photos of ourselves. Maybe there's just a certain amount of, it is what it is kind of thing. Whatever it is, I think it's really interesting because I was thinking to myself, I never imagined having this video record of me growing older. And not that 59 is old, but it's the oldest I've ever been. So to me, it feels old. But inside of me, I still feel like that same woman, back in 2005, who was putting her head over her sewing machine and trying to like take a interesting photograph of her face. Those are my thoughts coming into May of 2025. I'll wrap it up by saying I'm super happy to be here. I love what I do. I love my business. I love connecting with you all. And I love having a reason to just make stuff, whether it's making stuff with you all in an online retreat or whether it's following a pattern of somebody online that I admire, or whether it's me just making something from nothing to try and design something new. I love it all. Here's to unexpected careers, unexpected businesses, and may there be more of them. I really hope so. So take care for now, and I will see you very soon.